travel chaos swallowing up a family from Baton Rouge.
A husband and some kids stuck in Mexico. He is on a breathing machine right now after testing positive, not allowed to fly home. And tonight, his wife back home in the States facing a whole other set of problems. Brittany Weiss and 2 on your side with their story.
Right now, air passengers traveling to the U.S. are required to have a negative COVID test before they board a plane. 3 of Yolanda Comager's family members tested positive, and now what was supposed to be a fun family trip to Mexico has turned into a nightmare.
It was their children's first time out of the country, an exciting time, a vacation in Puerto Vallarta. But now it's Yolanda Comager's mission to get her husband out of Mexico.
I just want to get my husband back over here.
As protocol, they needed a negative COVID test to board their plane home. Comager says her husband, David, tested positive. So did 2 of her daughters, who all had to stay behind.
It's really, truly been a journey. It really has.
Comager flew back to try to find a way to get them all home, but things got bad fast for her husband, who went to get checked out at a nearby hospital.
They charged him $3,700 to treat him on oxygen for 24 hours.
Their insurance wouldn't cover the costs.
And he called me in tears because he said that the hospital was refusing to treat him. And they kicked him out of the hospital because he didn't have $12,000 to continue treatments.
She found out you didn't need a negative COVID test to travel by land, so she booked her husband and 2 daughters on a bus to El Paso and hopped in a car to meet them. But while on the bus to Texas, her husband got worse.
Well, I was here 2 hours ahead of them, and then I get a phone call from my daughter saying that my husband was on the bus and he could not breathe.
And had to be taken to the hospital. That's where he is now, in Chihuahua, Mexico.
That's probably about 3 hours away from the border.
Monday is the last time she spoke with him, right before he was intubated. Comager says he's scared. He doesn't know the language and just wants to come home.
He said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just need you to know that I love you. And I said, I love you too.
A couple of days ago, she tested positive too and is now stuck in a hotel room in El Paso.
He's there. He's alone by himself. So
she's been in touch with the U.S. consulate and Louisiana senators. But so far, she hasn't had any luck getting her husband to U.S. soil.
Comager says she hasn't been able to speak with anyone at the hospital. They don't have phones. Her 2 daughters have since tested negative and were able to fly home. Because their insurance isn't covering this, she estimates they've spent at least $15,000 out of pocket already and is hoping to hear some good news soon. Michael?
Good morning, my faithful loyal YouTube subscribers. Today is Monday, August the 16th. The year is 2021. So once again, we have a family that made the decision to not get vaccinated. They didn't get the COVID vaccine, although they had COVID once before. They chose not to get the COVID vaccination for whatever reason. Then they decided, we're going to take a trip to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, in the middle of a pandemic. They have not got their vaccinations. They hopped their asses on a plane and flew down to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta. Me and her also went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We were fully vaccinated, and we knew when we got there, we were told when we got there that there was a huge COVID outbreak going on in this city in Mexico, and just not to leave that resort. Because we have to take a COVID-19 test before you fly back to the United States, and we didn't want to test positive. So these people left their home, no COVID vaccination, flew to Mexico on vacation. It looks like they had a great time. And on the way back, they tested 3 of the family members, her husband and 2 kids, tested positive for the coronavirus, COVID-19. Now, this is where things get real tricky. Not only did these people fly down to Mexico without a COVID vaccination, they also they didn't purchase any emergency travel insurance that would have covered your hospital visit and the cost of a helicopter evacuation to give, if something were to happen to you, you get sick while in Mexico, they would pay for your hospital stay and also help you get safely back into the United States. They didn't have it. No vaccinations, no traveler's insurance. They didn't pay for the plan to life flight your ass up out of Mexico. They didn't do it. They ended up having to spend almost $15,000 in cash because her husband ended up getting sick from COVID-19 because he didn't have the vaccination. He ended up in the hospital, and then they ended up putting his ass on the ventilator. After they tried to get him out of Mexico, he still ended up in the hospital on the ventilator. They spent $15,000 in cash. You may ask, well, how much is travel insurance per person? And will cover your life flight? Maybe $100 per person. Maybe a little more. You can get a group plan. If you flew down there with her husband, wife, and 2 kids, a group plan maybe with about $75 to $100 per person. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. I think I'd rather spend that $100 per person, or whatever it costs, on insurance to safely guarantee that if something happens while I'm in Mexico visiting, I can safely get back to the United States. Doesn't that make the most sense? I'm not flying out to Mexico in the middle of a pandemic without my vaccination or some type of traveler's insurance to get me safely back if I were to get sick or have an injury while in Mexico. I see these stories all the time of people flying out of the country, whether it's Jamaica, Cancun, Mexico, wherever. They get injured. They have no traveler's insurance. No way to get back to the United States. They didn't pay for insurance. They didn't pay for a life flight to be evacuated. They didn't do nothing. And they go on the news, you're supposed to have sympathy and feel sorry for these people. Oh, but this is common sense. We're in the middle of a pandemic that's killed millions of people around the world, if you believe in the coronavirus, COVID-19. I had a friend who came over here yesterday, and he told me he don't believe in COVID-19. I don't believe in that COVID-19 mess. I don't believe it. I ain't met nobody that had it. None of my family members. Nobody's gotten sick. And I had to tell him, you may not believe in COVID-19, the coronavirus, but the coronavirus believe in your black ass. Yeah. So at midnight, you say coronavirus, coronavirus, coronavirus 3 times. And then coronavirus shows up around midnight. It stumps on your chest and you can't breathe. And yeah, coronavirus is going to stop you from breathing. It's going to get you in a headlock and stump on that chest of yours. You won't be able to breathe. And then the coronavirus is going to try to take your life away. And you're going to end up on a ventilator. Yeah, you might not believe in the coronavirus, COVID-19, but COVID-19, the coronavirus, believe in your black ass and give it a try. So, as I was saying, they didn't flew their asses down in Mexico. No vaccinations, no insurance. And now they want us to have sympathy for them and listen to their sad story. When all of this could be avoided. Now, let's say they had got the vaccine. He probably still could have tested positive for COVID, but hopefully the vast majority of people who've had the vaccine who do test positive get over it pretty quickly because they have the antibodies in their body produced to help fight off the viruses so they don't end up with pneumonia, which is why he ended up in the hospital on oxygen because he caught pneumonia. That at least would have eliminated that problem. But they took a risk, a huge risk that I'm not willing to take. I ain't getting on nobody's plane, flying nowhere in the middle of a pandemic without having been properly vaccinated and have proper insurance and medical coverage to get me taken care of in the event that something happens. Nobody plans for this to happen. I'm sure these people did not plan for them to go to Mexico and to dance with the coronavirus in the middle of the night and heat up in the hospital. I'm sure that was not on their agenda when they was jet skiing, parasailing, drinking vodkas and cranberries and margaritas out there. I'm sure they had no plans. Nothing on their agenda was to go to a local hospital and get put on the ventilator. That was on their agenda. But COVID had an agenda for their ass. See, COVID-19, the coronavirus, saw their asses getting off that plane. And he snatched their asses up. Can't fuck with the coronavirus. That motherfucker always watching. So anyway, I know a lot of you all travel and go places and do stuff. Everybody want to fly all over the world. I be looking at my Instagram, people be flying holidays every damn where. And I've always wondered, do these people have the proper insurance, traveler's insurance? In the event that something happens to them, do they have the right policy that will cover the hospital stay? And if you need a life flight back to the United States of America where you live and get you out to the Mexican hospitals where you don't live and don't want to be, do they have the proper insurance coverage? And every time I tell somebody, make sure you get travel's insurance before they leave, they say, we don't need it, we never get it. I'm like, you don't ever get it. You need travel's insurance because you don't know what might happen. You don't know what you might encounter down in Mexico running from the coronavirus. He catch your ass. Y'all gotta start using common sense around here. This is ridiculous. But they want us to feel sad and sorry for their story about them having got lost, having met up with the coronavirus in Mexico while I was down there drinking their margaritas. And a lot of these crazy people going down to Mexico and all these other places, there's a pandemic going on. The Delta variant is very contagious. Anybody can get it. It's extremely contagious when I read. See, I strongly believe in COVID-19, the coronavirus. Goes back to when Earl got sick in December of 2019. They thought at that time he had the flu or some type of virus. We didn't know it was COVID-19, the coronavirus. Now we know. Now we know what it is. That's why me and Earl are fully vaccinated. We got our vaccine as soon as that shit was ready. I remember my ass right on and get it. I was sitting around trying to think, did I get the vaccine or not? Let me think about it. I went over there and said, give it to me, baby. Give it to me. Give me that good, that sweet, that sex, that funky stuff. Give it to me. And shit, I don't want it. And then they're down there talking about that we're going to do some booster shots. I'm going to go get my booster shot. Can you give me 2 booster shots? I'm kind of a big person. I weigh 260 now. I need 2 of them damn things. I don't have all this fear about these vaccinations that a lot of you are. I don't get it. I guess I injected myself with so much shit over here. From using steroids to whatever shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't have that type of fear that you all do. Here's the crazy part. All these people scared to get this vaccine, but as soon as they get sick, they ain't scared to run up to the hospital. Keep that same energy. If you're scared to get the COVID vaccine because you don't know what's in it, and when you get sick, stay your ass at home until you get better. Why y'all run up to these hospitals and I got the coronavirus? Okay, what you want us to do? Go over there and lay in that bed. We'll see what we get to you later. No, it's almost like people are living in some type of fantasy world. It's odd to me. How could you all be running around here, flying all over the world, going to Mexico, doing all this crazy shit, and not have gotten vaccinated? I don't get it. Now, if you ain't got vaccinated, you sitting your ass at home, sitting on your couch watching TV, sipping on some coffee, you ain't planning on going no place. I get that. They run their ass down to Mexico. No vaccines, no travel insurance. If you can't afford to go the right way, stay your ass at home. Mexico ain't expensive. I'm sure they probably had an all-inclusive resort that gave food, drinks, every damn thing. They just didn't get no travel's insurance, which is not that expensive. I don't go on any vacation without travel's insurance, especially medical coverage. Because I don't care if you're going to Miami or Cancun or wherever, it's cheap. Get it. In case something happened, you are covered. You have that insurance policy that will pay for your hospital visit, emergency room visit, the life flight, or whatever you fucking got going on down there, wherever you're going. Do not go on vacation without that. Get it. Now, after these vaccinations, y'all, these hospitals are filled with all these people who have been unvaccinated and they're not doing well and they're sick. As to why anyone in their right mind would risk their health by not getting this vaccine is beyond me. They're scared of the vaccine, but they ain't that scared of the coronavirus. So when the coronavirus snatched their ass up, all of a sudden they got a problem. They can't breathe no more. They sick. They feel like they're about to die. That COVID-19, everybody I spoke to who had it said it was the worst sickest they ever been in their entire lives. Then it could be avoided if you just get the vaccination. I got it. I'm always going to be an advocate for the vaccine and staying healthy. All this, I'm taking nuts and berries, and I'm boosting my immune system by taking some vitamin C, D, and E. Good luck with all that. To ask COVID-19 if that would keep him from coming to dance with you at 12 midnight and see what he's saying. I'm not taking that risk. And I've talked to so many people who are so anti-vaccine, it is starting to get ridiculous. They don't get flu shots. They don't get this shot. They don't get that shot. They don't get this. We never get sick. And then one by one, I look at my Instagram stories, and there they are in the hospital on oxygen tape or oxygen mask, one by one. The same folks that was talking all that shit about the coronavirus, COVID-19, now they in the hospital with the coronavirus, COVID-19, and they're whooping their fucking ass. It's kind of amusing to me. I always send a little message like, now you wish you got that vaccine. They never respond. They see the message, they read on it, bastard. I just wouldn't take that risk, myself personally. Y'all can do whatever you want to do. But I damn sure ain't flying out this country without being vaccinated and without traveler's insurance. That just doesn't make sense to me. You fly to Mexico. COVID, around their own vacation too? What they thought, COVID don't take vacations? It do. COVID-19 will get on Delta, that's what they call it, the Delta variant, and fly all over the world to the same destinations you going to. But y'all don't care about that. Because we ain't taking that vaccine. We don't trust it. Okay. Well, do what y'all want to do. I'm about to it's hot and you got to turn the air back on. And I need to get up here and get dressed. I got to go to the gym today. I got a whole bunch of stuff I need to do. It's supposed to rain here. I think it's supposed to rain today or tomorrow. It says it's only 80 degrees outside, but I went outside to take some trash. It's hot as hell out there. It's hot. But anyway, thank you for watching my YouTube videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I did a video last Friday, and YouTube took the video down. Anything that has coronavirus in the title, they going crazy. So I'm gonna have to stop putting any reference to COVID-19 or coronavirus in the title to these videos. I'm just gonna put a date and stuff and keep it moving. Watch the video. If you don't like what I got to say, just keep it moving to the next video. Eventually you'll find a video that you like. But today is Monday, August the 16th, the year 2021. Yes, we're still in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. I don't like y'all, but y'all thought it went someplace. People think coronavirus packed up and left. No, it ain't went no damn where. The coronavirus is still showing up at 12 midnight at your home, ready to choke the shit out your ass and stomp on your chest so you cannot breathe. If you haven't experienced that yet, you might want to ask some of your friends or family members or some other people who have experienced dancing with the coronavirus. That coronavirus, COVID-19, is a beast. Ain't nothing to play with. But anyway, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And I look forward to reading you all's comments.